welcome to iHeart Reviewing Stuff. So I'm gonna finally do my little doll chat about the $75 Haute Couture Clawdeen wolf, who comes in like a really cool coffin box. And she comes with a like booklet journal thing, and she does come with a certificate, which is weird because unless like you have to unbox this one, I have the Gremlins Skelector doll. Like, unless her certificate is inside this box, which maybe possibly it is. Like, maybe I'll have to watch someone who actually unboxed her, because I was like, oh, this one didn't come with a certificate of, you know, authenticity, saying who it was designed by or whatever. So yeah, I don't know if that's just in the Haute Couture ones or if Skelectors usually come with a certificate, but maybe it's somewhere in their box, because it was inside the coffin box, I think, the certificate. So yeah, I already did share on Instagram kind of the things that bugged me with this doll. So I'm not gonna I won't focus super much on them. So what I don't like, considering when you think about, you know, okay, I paid $75, her legs, these leg joints that she has, they're very loose, especially my right one is a lot more loose than my left, but the left one is more cracked in, I'll call that her thigh. And I talked to other people who are more familiar with Monster High than me, and they said this is like how Monster High dolls were always made. So it's too bad with like a $75 one that they didn't correct anything. They just went ahead and kept doing what they've always done. So I'm kind of disappointed in that with Mattel. But I knew going in this that, like, I've never unboxed Greta. So I haven't had to deal with any possible things like disappointing me or bugging me yet with her. Because I kind of just want to live in the moment of being happy I have her. I only had to pay $85 for Greta. I had to buy someone's extra, so that's, I think she was what, 60? So whatever. I think this one I paid the cheapest shipping. Some people pay the like expensive shipping so they can get it like, you know, quicker than everybody else. But I just paid like the cheapest shipping and got her like, what, on Friday I think it was, because I think Saturday I tried to do a video and I just wasn't feeling well, so I did like pictures and shared my opinion. And Monster High on Instagram actually like gave me a phone number to call and an email that I could do. So I don't know, maybe they thought my complaints were enough to make a stink about. I don't know. I didn't really feel like they were that much. I don't know. Like, I called Mattel only like one time, when the Creatable World dolls first came out, and I picked the one that had braids, and her braids were really poorly done. And her jacket sleeve, one of the sleeves had like a complete tear, like hole in it. And I was like, I don't have the sewing skills to fix this. Like, I can do some things. I surprise myself. There's some things I've been able to fix. But yeah, I think I'm a little too nervous if it was like a sleeve, you know, where your doll's arm goes through. Like, that just seems more technical than I probably knew how to fix. At least back then. But they were really nice. Like, the customer service lady, like, they didn't even, I think, ask for my receipt, but they needed the batch number on your box. So that's probably kind of like, you know, the proof of them knowing you purchased it. But I had bought it on Amazon, and she was like, oh, okay, we don't have any, like, we can't send you a replacement. Like, they were so new at the time. So she said like they could send me a check for like the amount I paid for the doll so I could buy a new one. And I thought that was just unbelievably kind, because I've never had a company, if I've had an issue, like with MGA, I usually feel like I have to jump through like so many hoops if there's like something missing or something broken or some sort of defect. I feel like there's a lot of proof you have to show them. and you have to do it like all on your computer. You can't just call it in like with Mattel that I was able to do, but this was back in the day of Creatable World. I don't really know how it is now. But yeah, I feel like with MGA, like I just had to jump through so many hoops, and I've never had MGA be like, oh, like we'll send you a check so you can buy a replacement. I know even Spin Master with the surprise stuff, I think that's where like a lot of our frustration gets with the surprise stuff. If something's defective or missing, is a lot of times they can't really like replace it. I think even Jack's Toys can't with those like Kitten Cafe dolls that they had back in the day. So that's the only like bummer with surprise stuff, is you can be kind of screwed, because I've heard people have issues with like Universe Unicorns, like maybe something was missing and they asked Spin Master, and Spin Master's like, the best we could do is just send you another one to open. But it's like, okay, you could end up getting a dupe if like you're trying to be a completist with it, and if, you know, you opened, you know, one of maybe the last ones you needed, because they were coated, and maybe something was missing from that. It's sucky that you can't just get like this little piece of, you know, whatever accessory thing was missing. So yeah, so I don't know yet if I would call and complain, because I felt like I talked to other people who are more familiar with Monster High dolls, and I mean, it sounded like this whole looseness down here is a common thing people deal with. And then even what I was going to mention with I don't like the way they made the thighs. It feels like it's just two hollow pieces of plastic fused together with glue, or I don't know what they use. You know, maybe they heat it and make it kind of melt together. I don't know. But I don't like it. So I've never had an articulated Monster High doll before, so I had no idea what to expect. So yeah, I hate this, and I have no idea if the camera is going to pick up on it. But yeah, her left leg, like, you know, I guess the knee area, there's a crack that bugs me, because it's like, well, I like to take pictures. The other one doesn't look like all that much better, but definitely looks better than the other side. So yeah, that's probably the main thing that bugs me. I think everything else I was like, I could forgive. Because I don't like with her jacket as well. So this side, like, it looks sewn, like, you know, I don't know. I guess I'll like reference, I watch Project Runway, and like, to me, this looks like, you know, the seamstress, or well, not seamstress, the fashion designer who wins, you know, at the very end would have sewn something like this, and clearly like who's eliminated in like the first few episodes would have made this eyesore over here. But again, I mean, that's just the lining inside the jacket. I don't like that it doesn't look, I'm trying to think even how to describe it. This just looks like they had extra fabric and like sewed it together. And then this is like the fabric got folded inside, and it's just a much like crisp way to sew something together versus, you know, this that you guys can see is like this extra flap of fabric material. I just think it's sloppy. But is that worth like demanding some refund? I don't know. It doesn't like bug me, because I'm like, it's not like I'm gonna reverse her jacket. She's, you know, I'm pretty sure you're not like meant to reverse this jacket and have her wear it lime green, because that just looks like the lining of the jacket. So that doesn't, like, I can forgive that. I was being kind of nitpicky with her, just because we did pay $75, and I think like as collectors, like, you know, we do have the right to share our opinions and say what like our disappointments are. But the outside of the jacket is gorgeous. I think it's really, really fun. This doll does make me wish that I had Barbie Extra Doll #1 that had the rainbow fur jacket, because I don't know how that one is lined, if this is like a step up in quality or if it's the same. I would hope that this is better. But maybe I'll have to look up, maybe there's like some reviews that I could see the lining of the jacket on that Barbie extra doll, because that I instantly was curious with her. Like I knew even before buying her that I'm like, okay, I'm curious about this jacket. Like, is it just Barbie extra quality, or is it actually better quality? I do love the purple and pink on it. I kind of probably would have liked better if maybe the pink matched the pink in her hair. Oh, and this is something that bugs me too. I hate when doll companies, they're like, oh, we'll give you a fun color in the hair, but we're just gonna like put it back here, like on the bottom. Like, why not have like given her pink highlights like in the top parts of her hair or in the front, or I don't know, something a little more fun, because I feel like we have to figure out ways to mess with this hair, you know, in doll photography, to like show people, oh yeah, there is some pink in here if I can find it and make it lay right, and you know, all of that. Now the hair quality, this is probably the best hair that I have felt in Mattel dolls, because I have Barbie extra dolls. I have just some bad Monster High dolls, because they're from like 2016. I know everybody hates those ones, and yeah, mine don't have any articulation, and their hair is either kind of like oily, greasy, and like flat, or their hair is like very, very dry and like almost too like poofy. It's kind of my experience with like the Monster High dolls that we like caught the tail end to collect. Because Marissa didn't get her first Barbies, well, I should say dolls, until she was like 3. I think it was her 3rd birthday that I got her all the like happy places that I had no idea how tiny that stuff was gonna be. Like, I had watched it on YouTube, and you just, sometimes in YouTube you can't tell just how tiny something is until you buy it, and then you unbox it and you're like, oh my god, my kid's gonna lose all this stuff. But amazingly, we actually did pretty good in our happy places stuff. We didn't, I think, lose very much at all with all the years that we owned it and played with it and stuff. But yeah, she got those, I think, for her 3rd birthday. And then I think it was Christmas 2016 that she got like her first Barbie fashionistas. And I went really crazy for fashionista Barbies. Like, I was so excited that there was like a tall Barbie and a petite Barbie and a curvy Barbie. And then like, so we bought all kinds of like fashion packs and shoes. And I mean, we had like, and I had to make sure we had one of each of these kinds of Barbies. Yeah, I was really, really excited, like, because that was just something that didn't exist when I was a kid. So I would say it was probably in 2017 that I probably was like able to get just, you know, whatever was kind of left of Monster High. I guess it was kind of a reboot in 2016, and people didn't really like it. I want to say it was Monster High in 2010. Like, if someone knows, like, feel free to comment, because you know, Marissa wasn't born until 2013, so I was out of the loop on a lot of stuff before she started to get into dolls. Now, I will say the shoes I like a lot. I feel like these are detailed in a collector status, you know, Mattel, with Mattel anyway. That like all those gold painted on details. The buckle even kind of makes me think that it's, you know, a little sliver of moon because she's a werewolf. And the gold in the back of the heels. So all these gold painted on details on the shoes, I appreciate. I feel like we wouldn't get that in a Barbie extra doll, which is like, you know, a $25 doll. Now, I'm not sure about the socks. Well, fishnet socks, I guess, would you call these socks? I don't really know. Now those, I don't know. I feel like doll number 2, which I don't own either, but didn't she come with like white fishnets? So I don't know if I'd say this is really like in the collector status. I feel like the shoes are, with all the little painted on details, are in a collector status. Definitely the real chain on the purse, they don't really do that in like Barbie extra. It would have been just plastic chain. Now, what bugs me though is that this piece right here, her necklace, this doesn't give me collector status. This feels cheap. This feels like what you would get in the $25 Barbie extra dolls. Like, I think it should have been real chains instead of these gold plastic chains. And then, I mean, even if this moon sliver that kind of goes well with the shoes, if they could have given us like that as an actual real kind of like gold charm. I also think that would have tied in better with her jewelry if they could have had it been actual like real chains and like a real charm. I'm not sure how they would have done that black part, but maybe they could have just skipped it, because I mean, I don't really feel like it was necessary for like the choker part of the necklace. Maybe they could have just done away totally with that, just done the gold chains with the little moon charm in gold would have been cool. I do like her bracelet that she has on here. I don't know if that's gonna really show up. There is the Monster High like logo skull is on it. It looks kind of like a purse or maybe a chest. And then it does have some studs on it as well. I think those show up. So I think that's a really cool piece. I don't feel like you would get this in a Barbie extra doll, even though they have done, there was one that had charms attached to her necklace, but yeah, because this does feel kind of cheap. It's not very heavy, so this could just be like plastic with a just better kind of paint on it than this. So yeah, I don't know. I am thinking, I don't know, that's I think what bugs me with the doll is there are some things that I feel like are things that you could have just gotten in an Barbie extra doll. Now her eyelashes are probably my favorite thing in this doll. They actually, like, I would say I probably need to correct myself and not ever say that Rainbow High has rooted eyelashes, because I feel like Rainbow High, the eyelashes might just be like glued onto their eyeball, because I know people switch out the eyes. So I wouldn't really say that that's like rooted. Whereas these, I would say they are rooted. It's really hard to see though, because they were smart. They like made it black where they're rooted, but it's like, you know, if you were to take all her hair off and, you know, watch people how they have to like reroot a doll's hair. With these, like, it is 5 separate pieces, like 5 separate holes are in the head on each eye. And then they had to put those pieces of hair in, and then they actually even cut them at like an angle so that like they're shorter on the inside and they get longer on the outside. And I think it's just so pretty. I've never owned, again, someone let me know if you know this. I don't know if Hasbro's Disney Princess style series are, I have a feeling they're not done like this, because I've seen them in store and it kind of just looked like they might be like glued on like a chunk of like eyelash and just glued on. But someone corrected me, like if they're rooted like this, then that's pretty impressive, because those dolls are usually about $25, unless they're like a more special. There's like an Elsa one, a Cruella de Vil one, and I think there's been some other special ones, but for the most part I think they retail about $25, those Hasbro style series dolls. I know their fashion would not be exactly like this. I think it tends to be kind of like cheap material on their clothes. So this one, and this one surprisingly took the longest to sell out. Frankenstein took the second longest to sell out, and then Draculaura, she was up on Friday and she sold out in a matter of like 2 minutes or something. I heard it was kind of like the Skulllector ones, so I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad that I'm not like that hardcore of a fan that I wanted like all 3 or that I like waited and was like, oh, I just want Draculaura. Like this was the one after I watched everyone's unboxings. I was like, I'm gonna save up and like I will just buy this one. I'll be happy just to have one in my collection. But yeah, definitely I am very sorry to those who maybe Draculaura was the only one that you wanted and if you weren't able to get her, because yeah, I just was pretty heartbroken to hear that happened with that one, because I was like, oh god, like, because I had like such a terrible experience when I wanted to get this one, because again, I had to buy someone's extra because yeah, I waited for the countdown to end. I was clicking the add to cart button on the website and the website was just crashing on me, and I didn't have as terrible as another person's experience. They showed me like proof of like they actually had this doll like in their cart, and Mattel had them in like a waiting line. I think it was like a 1 to 2 minute waiting line that they were, you know, having to wait to check out, and then of course all that waiting that Mattel made them do, and then by the time they got to like have their turn to check out, the doll was sold out. I'm glad I didn't have that in my experience, because I think I would have really broke down and cried, because I was just like, I was already having like frustration. I was like, okay, the add to cart button's not working, and I mean, it's crazy to me, like clearly scalpers figure out ways. I don't know, they have faster internet or something. I don't know what their skills are. Or maybe they have a bunch of like windows open to like copy and paste stuff in for, you know, like credit card and all that, and addresses. And I mean, because you're supposed to only be able to buy 2 of these, but clearly like when you look on eBay, like scalpers get them and like charge like way too much extra for them. So yeah, let me think real quick. Was there anything else? So yeah, it was mainly the pink in the hair. I think they should have like put some in the front or like highlighted it on the top or something. This to me is always just like okay, like why only put it back there on the bottom of her hair? And then yeah, my little beef with the lining of the jacket. Definitely the legs. This is my like really thing I don't like. And then yeah, I thought these should have been like gold chains. Oh, and then her earrings. Okay, this does bug me. People told me I guess I could try to carefully move the earring. But yeah, her hoops, the opening of the hoops is like outside the ear. I feel like it should be pressed against her ear. I don't know though, if I were to move it, would they then have a more likelihood of falling off? Because I don't know if that opening, is it tight enough on how, you know, ever thin her ear is? So I don't know. I don't super want to mess with them, but that was like just a little pet peeve that I had as well with her. And then I have seen, I know I didn't take her jacket off and take this, I do like this mesh in black and gold top that she has on, but I've seen her without the top. I do agree that the top underneath does look like cheap and like doesn't really look collector status. It's just like a top that's lime green and pink. It kind of matches the pink in her hair more than the jacket. This is like a lighter pink, and it has like claw marks. I think it's like black claw marks on it. But yeah, I don't think I would ever have her just wear that top, considering it looks cheap. Oh, okay, one more thing that I did kind of complain to Mattel about with the skirt. The skirt I think is really actually a good, really fun piece to have because of all the like gold stitching and the gold studs. I just don't like that a lot of the studs have like purple thread kind of poking out where they're done. So I don't know if these studs are put on better than like OMG dolls, you know, where like there was like Bad Girl who had like this plastic vest thing, and it had studs on it, and even Cookie Swirl C like showed in her video like how the studs would just fall off. Ours is missing a whole bunch too, just, you know, as you play with the doll. So I don't know if there's purple threads, because maybe these are like sewn on to where like they're not just gonna pop off, because it was clear that like the OMG dolls, I think they're just kind of like cheaply glued on, and that's why they fall off. So I didn't like super like complain about the purple threads that are like kind of tiny and sticking out, because if that's securing them better, then that's fine. And I do like the pleats on her skirt, and that we get this like kind of mesh fishnetty tulle underneath to give it like a little bit of body and a little something extra that you can kind of see. So yeah, the skirt is one of my favorite pieces on her. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.